Good to go. All right. Welcome, everybody, to Season 4, Episode 11 of Oz Media's Motivate Me 313 podcast. We are officially here and ready for another great episode here in the studio. Today's topic is all about weddings in crisis, navigating the bridal industry post-COVID and global conflict/genocide. And so let me go ahead and introduce the people who are in the building today. First of all, starting off with Little Big Bro in the back on the ones and twos, Yusuf T. Appreciate him as always. Of course, you got myself, Omar T, the co-host of the show. Got my sister, Abir T. And then next to her, we have Laila. And next to Laila, we have Lina. And next to Lina, we have Yhesmine. So go ahead and give a round of applause to everyone that's in the building today. There we go. We have a live audience here too. I don't know if y'all seen that or not. But yeah, so ready for a great show, like I said. But before we do any of that, be sure to follow us on all of our socials. You have YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Apple and Spotify podcasts, all under Oz Media. And if you want to find all those things, you can find it on our website at ozmedia313.com. Shout out to the sponsors of the show: Hanley International Academy, Holy Bowly, Wingfellas, Juice Box, Mele Kebab, Jabel Coffee House, and Royal Kebab. We're going to start off with the place that serves the best coffee in town, which is Jabel Coffee House. And then we're going to officially get the show on the road. So shout out to Jabel's Coffee House. Jabel Coffee House offers all of their customers an elevated coffee experience. If you stop by any of their locations, you will see a coffee house with a luxurious design, innovative spaces to meet with your friends, as well as exceptional service. They offer the best premium Yemeni coffee and quality crafted drinks. You can try their fan favorite, the Adeni tea, iced Jabel latte, or any of their refreshers and matchas. Also, don't forget to add one of their delicious pastries or desserts to go with your drinks, which we guarantee will satisfy that sweet tooth. They currently have a location in West Dearborn, with locations coming to North Carolina, Illinois, Florida, Ontario, and California. You can visit their website at jabelcoffeehouse.com or download the Jabel app, available on all your smartphone devices. All right, we're officially back and ready to get this show rolling, so let's have some fun. I'm actually looking forward to this show. Shout out to Laila. We appreciate you and all that you do. And I know this was something that we actually talked about for a while ago. Alhamdulillah, we were able to make it happen. Shout out to Mr. Super Duper Elite Nader, by the way. Inshallah, I know right now he's down right now, but inshallah he's feeling great. You know we had to mention him at least one time.
I knew this was coming, and of course we do have to give Mr. Nader a big shout out.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
thanks,
Mr.
babe.
Super Duper Elite. I hope he's doing well. But let's start off with the basic question. I mean, people want to know what y'all do and how does it relate to the topic today. So can you tell us kind of like each and every one of you one at a time, tell us what y'all do and anything you would like to mention so that the audience can get to know you a little better.
Yeah, of course. So, I mean, I think most of everybody knows me. My name is Laila. I am the owner of Jewels of Lara. And I have been basically the fairy godmother for brides for the past 12 years, alhamdulillah. So it's been amazing. I think I got a lot of input, and I know you and I bounced back and forth some ideas, and I think this has been a long time coming, and I hope you guys are ready for this.
Let's go. And Lina, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, definitely. I am partners with Salon West. I'm operational manager. So I see everything from the beginning of the wedding until the end of the wedding when the bride walks out before she goes to her family and gets married. So very, very big involvement, emotional, financially, aesthetically, every way you can possibly think of, we're meeting the brides and her demands.
And Salon West is a big heavy hitter in Dearborn.
Is, definitely, yes.
I mean,
been around for a very long time, has a very strong name, very strong reputation, yes.
Yeah, guys, we don't really know too much, but I've always heard Salon West in conversations, so that's so funny. Yhesmine, same thing with you. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've definitely been in the salon industry for quite some time now. I think since I was a kid. I own European Tanning Club, so, from the tanning, I see it all. I'm also her partner at Salon West as well as an esthetician. So I really have the opportunity from prepping to creating, going with them to the wedding and like being part of their day. I get to kind of see from start to finish of the planning it all. So it's a really cool opportunity. I am absolutely so blessed to have somebody like her in my life doing it with me. And here we are. And I'm so excited about today, by the way. Yeah. It's like, if you can't tell. But yeah. So
that's funny.
Yeah.
That's great to hear. And I bet she's just here. She's just a teacher. So she's just going to be here.
No, I love it. And you guys understand, like, the bride is the wedding.
Yeah. The bride is
from head to toe. As long as she looks good, screw everything else. Like, personally.
Yeah.
The bride is is the focal point.
It
Even the groom.
literally
So
is.
I was gonna say, it sounds like a lot of women agreeing with each other right now. I mean,
There's a lot of women.
You're a
only
little
weddings.
outnumbered, just a tiny bit.
4-1.
I mean, listen,
that's funny.
it's her day.
It is.
It was
It is.
never
I
about
agree.
his day. It was always her day, how she felt, how she looked.
Yes.
She's just as much involved in the wedding planning as the event planner or anybody else. So I feel like
Not more.
if not, I mean, listen, I tell brides all the time, it's a stressful day.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing they tell me is, I cannot wait for this day to be over.
And I hate hearing that.
I know.
I do. It makes me so sad.
It
but
does.
I think as we get further into the conversation today, it's definitely going to hit home with a lot of people
Yeah.
of how deep the word bride truly is
and what it means to
and
everybody.
what it means
Yeah.
and the significance of why it is her day.
I think we're about to make people very woke about bride.
Yeah.
And so that's what I love that you say that. So obviously these last 4 or 5 years, our community, I mean, a lot of people in the world, but specifically in this area, there's been some crazy stuff that's been happening. And you don't really think about how it can affect the bridal industry. And then when you mentioned it to me, I was like, you know what? That's pretty, you ain't lying. Like, you know, that's messed up. Like some situations that happen, I can only imagine. And so this show is going to be kind of broken down to 2 parts, like we mentioned, post-COVID, and then now post the conflicts, the genocide that's been happening in some of the countries that are in the Middle East. So let's start off with post-COVID, all right? How did the bridal industry get affected, and can you tell us specific ways? And we can start off with you this time, Lina. And so post-COVID, how, you know, tell us, what was the bridal industry like immediately right after COVID, maybe during COVID, and then now pretty much till this day?
That's a really good question. Immediately after COVID, a lot of brides stepped back from having their dream. You know, this is something that little girls have thought about and dreamt about since maybe 6, 7 years old. Post-COVID really put a staple on priority. You know, am I going to spend this money on a wedding? I can't invite everyone. They still had this in their mind, the social distancing or the limitations. Some of the halls still were not able to accommodate the demand that was coming back post-COVID. They went from serving, 10 people to 1,000 people, but not many people were working. So it put a big, big dent in the bridal industry as a whole, collectively. Emotionally, I can't even begin to tell you the stories that we've heard where people have scaled back weddings or they decided, we're just going to do pictures. Yeah. They truly did give up their dream.
That's did you want to add on to that, Yhesmine, as well?
Yeah, we were talking about it, and it's kind of crazy because I'm like one of those little girls, we all have that dream, and I can't imagine going through life having a picture perfect wedding in my head and then it just being crushed by something it's out of your hands. Like there's nothing that you can do. And so to be like, boom, slap in the face, it's like a truck. And we've experienced so many before COVID, during COVID, and to even my friends that were affected. It's a really sad thing to see happen. Luckily, only lasted a couple of years and then we were able to get back on it. But it changes the timeline of what you expected and what you dreamt of. Yeah.
And how did it affect you, Laila, and in the industry that you do specifically?
Most definitely, I would say it was very emotional.
Yeah.
In my industry, we had girls that still wanted to go through the bridal emotions. They still wanted to feel like a bride. They still wanted to have their day, but without 400 people. And so how did they balance between being able to feel like a bride, still feeling those butterflies in your stomach, still being able to share those intimate moments with your friends and family, for whether it's a bridal dress fitting or coming in to see me and get your headpiece and kind of putting the icing on the cake per se. There was a lot of emotions, and I can't tell you how many tissue boxes I went through during that period of time because my girls were just so wrecked. Right. They did not know how to make any sense of what was going on. They didn't know how to perceive anything. And at the end of the day, they were just like, you know what? I swear, if I can just push forward past this day and just be in my house already, I would.
Yeah, there was no adjustment period emotionally for a lot of women, a lot of young girls. It was, these are your choices that you have. Who do you eliminate? How do you make that decision when you're looking
and
at
it got stricter and stricter and stricter.
How do you really process that?
So and any bride that has come to me, they know how intimate our sessions are. You know, I'm kind of like the bridal therapist. You know, you come to me about a month before your wedding.
Fairy godmother. There you go.
I'm
the
telling
bridal
you.
godmother.
Yeah. And we process things. You know, I tell them, well, what's bothering you? Because they come in you could see it. It's on their face. You know,
definitely.
they're just like so disgusted with
Tense.
life at this point, you know? And I said, listen, this is still your day. And what me and you are going to go through within this next hour or two is going to basically just let's clarify everything. Let's sort it out. Let's put it all out there and sort it out. And let's do what makes you feel good.
Wow.
Let's do what you are content with. Because all these other people that are coming to your wedding are literally just attending your wedding. You are the one making the memories. You and your husband, you and your family, your parents. Those photos that you're going to take that day are going to remind you of what that day meant to you. So let's make sure that day was the best. So for me, it was stepping away from being able to meet the needs of everybody and solely focusing on my brides. And so we had to slow things down a lot.
You know how much stress you probably alleviate just by that session and just by hearing them out and reminding them that it's about them and not about everything else. Because the bride, we worry about everything.
And you see it so much with our brides where it's the mom and it's the sister, it's the guest,
Yeah.
and they want to control literally everything. And it's like, let the bride just have
It's
her
all the
day.
noise. It's all
Let
the
her
noise.
just have her
yeah.
day. And I think that's a big part that we do with our salon too, is that when they walk in, we see it. They come, like 12 people at
Yeah.
one time.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, everybody step aside.
Yeah,
Bride,
we
come
do.
here. How are you? Did you
Right.
eat today?
No.
Do you need a girl? Like we do that stuff. And so
Exactly.
remembering like human basic necessities, I think, too,
Right.
literally on the same day. So yeah.
And that's the weddings are crazy. I'm sorry, like they're just like the craziest day. I mean, would you say it's the most important day for like a woman? Is it her wedding day? I
Entire
mean,
life, yeah.
maybe even
Definitely.
I guess a man
it's
too.
one of the first days, absolutely, 100%.
I mean, it's something that we role play from the time we're like a year or two old, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We want to put on that cute big wedding dress, and we're so excited
wanna
to
be
be
the
the flower
princess.
girls
Yeah,
at our uncle's
definitely,
weddings or the
definitely.
mini bride, and it's something that we always look forward to because it's like, oh my God, she looks so pretty. Oh my God, they're so happy. Oh my God, look at they get to dance their first dance, and all eyes on you,
Yeah.
right? And I think
You're
every
living
girl.
your own fairy tale.
It is the fairy
It's
tale.
your own fairy tale. It's like the best way to put it.
It's the beginning of your story,
It is.
you know?
For forever, inshallah.
Joel, yeah.
Inshallah. So as weddings began to resume, and we can start off with you on this one, I guess what strategies did bridal businesses implement to adapt to the new normal after
Oh, I
COVID?
love this question. And I was talking with her about it. I genuinely believe that what COVID gave us and gave everybody within the industry is the ability and the opportunity, like within social media, to really grow within themselves. So I think we used that, and we got right on it. I think brides, they knew. Sorry, I'm totally blanking out with this question. But I was going back on with the content specifically. I think that COVID allowed everybody to really step forward, really get into the creative mindset. And that being with it is because we all were so trapped at home that we couldn't go to weddings. We couldn't go to these events and these things that we were normally doing. So we had to watch it on a screen, whether it was a movie or whether it was from 2 years ago. We utilized that. So I think coming back out, prior COVID, content was more so of like your before, your after, your results. And then afterwards, I think it gained like the intimacy back. It gained back the love. It gained back, I don't know how to even put it into words, but people, you feel it. You felt it through the screen because that was the only feeling.
vulnerability.
Yeah, it was the
were
only
able-
thing that we had.
Yeah.
So coming back out of it, it's growing and it's growing rapidly. And I love it. So that's a really good positive outside of it.
It is.
Yeah.
It's where we were able to step back and fully engage.
Yeah.
Again, it's not just about let's get this day over with, because before, and let's be honest, we're all guilty of it. We were on that boat too. We're like, yeah, let's just get this day over with. There was no more, hey, wait, let's take a moment. How are you feeling today? Today is one of the biggest days of your life. Breathe every moment in. Don't look at the flowers. Don't look at that little vase that didn't match. Now that's post-COVID. That was a strategy that we took, is just allowing ourselves to start
To really
over
feel.
and do a reset emotionally,
Yeah.
versus let's just get this over with. Like, you're just another bride. Like, I've seen 10 of you today.
I think
There's nothing special about you.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It brought meaning back.
There goes our clip. There goes our clip right there.
There goes the spice.
Nothing special about you.
It's coming out.
Because it gets to become like a business.
It does.
You know?
We lost the emotional ability to engage. We did. It became just going through the motions. It became just a financial train that we're all riding.
I just feel like at one point too, prior to COVID, that's really what it kind of was. It was
That's
just
what I'm speaking of. Prior to
another-
COVID, definitely.
It was just a
Another-
job.
It was just
a
another
business.
job.
But during COVID, when you're watching a bride, and I'll tell you guys, I'll recall it to one of my brides. She's telling me about how she's losing her father.
Haram.
She's by her father's bedside, and he's slipping away. And she still has to plan this wedding because he's telling her,
That's his dying wish.
do not put your wedding on hold. Life goes on.
Wow.
So how do you tell a bride who's sobbing that it's going to be okay? And yes, this is all life, right? It's a spinning, it's a cycle.
Yeah.
You know, you have loved ones that die and they move on.
Yeah.
Allah yarhamun. And then there's life that comes into the world. And then there's little things that we celebrate in between that keeps life going.
Correct. Memories.
And so her father knew what was happening, and he's like, I don't know if I'm going to come out of this, but you're going to be the most beautiful bride. And so when I tell you guys, these are the kinds of stories, and those tissues are flying
they're
off
so
the
touching,
box.
yeah.
And it's like, how do you comfort a bride who's literally like detached from her wedding at this point? Because she's like, the reality is I'm losing a parent.
Yeah.
Nothing matters to me at this point. A wedding doesn't matter to me. Having 400 faces for me to look at doesn't matter to me. Well, during COVID, it was like 50 to 100.
10 at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's like,
Literally.
I don't care to see anybody. I just want to be by my dad.
Yeah.
You know, I need this moment with my dad. And I think that's what happened during COVID is it made people so raw and vulnerable.
Emotional
that
priority. Emotional priority,
Exactly.
definitely.
They were able to kind of like recalibrate themselves.
Yeah.
And to think like priority wise,
Like so in
where
tune
should
with
my
emotions.
attention be right now?
Correct.
Emotional priority.
Yeah.
definitely.
Being so in tune with your emotions, I think. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's just, that's stuff that, again, especially as guys, that kind of we don't think about too much. But it's definitely something that's worth talking
I have a
about in
question.
discussion.
Sorry, I
No,
know
it's
you're going to go
okay.
to the next one. So during COVID, I know like weddings were kind of like shut out, but brides still, even if it was intimate, they still cared about their hair and makeup.
Oh, absolutely.
Were you guys still accommodating like during COVID? Like, was it a?
So during COVID, there was a point in time where the state shut everything down. And this is where a lot of stylists and artists ventured out on their own, and they decided and they discovered themselves, and they realized like, wow, I could do this on my own. You know, I don't necessarily need to be in a salon or behind a salon to move forward. And that's where a lot of individuals decided to go and open their own, businesses, their own suites, and work for themselves. So that also put a big, huge thing in motion for the industry.
So
as
not
well.
to cut you off,
Yeah.
but I'm going to add on to you. I almost feel like we kind of went back in time, and it kind of became like the
Yes.
medieval times.
Yes.
It did.
And
We had to.
you had to go to like
did.
your grandma's friend's
You had to know somebody.
daughter.
Correct.
And they came to your house and they got you ready like secretively in your own room.
Yeah, we did.
Because honestly, you weren't allowed out of your house. And if you were, like, you got ridiculed for it. Like, oh my God, how dare you be out of your
Yeah.
house, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a
So-
top secret mission.
In a way, I kind of like enjoyed that. It was kind of not nostalgic because I never went through that, but
It was a nice reset, honestly.
so it was
I
kind of
think.
like to take you back in time
Yeah.
to show you how maybe people had done it back in the 1900s.
Yes.
Or maybe
When
just to
big
slow down.
major salons and all this like lavish, luxurious things that we offer now did not exist. You know, you had to just kind of, it was like a black market, like under the table.
Yeah.
Made it
Funny
happen.
story.
Yeah.
Underground.
Yeah, that's a funny story. So we had to shut down, obviously, the tanning salon right away. And I had a bride, she DM'd me and she was like, hey, like, I am so pale. Like, what am I going to do? It's winter time. Like, please. I'm like, okay, listen, come 12 o'clock at night.
We'll go the
So she
back
comes
door.
in and I just started doing like single visits for my brides. I'm like, listen, it's one person in here. It's literally me and her.
Yeah.
I let them get their tan on. Honestly, they had to.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we had to do
It was
do our
literally
brides.
like, who do you know?
Yeah,
This-
you have to know somebody.
It's just ridiculous the brainwashing that COVID truly
Why?
tried to do.
For what?
Like, I know that's a different topic and we
Yeah.
won't go there.
Yeah.
But that's definitely just ridiculous that
I know.
It's the fear of the unknown.
Correct.
You know.
Everything is
Literally-
unknown.
That's
Everything
literally
beyond this
what
moment is
COVID
unknown.
was. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I keep telling us that and during history books, 20, 30 years down the line, inshallah, when we're still, good and we can
And we can
actually
read about it.
comprehend. Yeah, we're going to read
when the
about
world
it.
shut down.
Yeah.
Hey, I was
For a
alive
virus that we
during that
still
time.
don't know
And
about.
we're going to share
fully.
these stories about how crazy it was. I remember, I have 2 daughters, and my brother had a, little playscape area in his backyard. I went and I washed down the playscape area before they played on it. You know what I mean? And
Ridiculous,
just, Just 'cause
I
I'm
remember us getting tested before we went to visit each other.
Yeah.
So we didn't,
Or,
it's that
excuse
crazy.
me, the amount of toilet paper that people bought. Can we
Yeah.
just
I still don't know
before
what
we
the heck
move
that
on?
was about.
Yeah, what was that about? I don't know either.
Till this day, the world may never know.
No.
How do you run
I know you mentioned that content, and you guys kind of already talked about some of the positives that came out of the post-COVID area. But is there anything else that you want to mention? Some of the positives that came out of the post-COVID area. Anything you want to touch on that one?
Yes, I have a lot to touch on.
There's so much about that topic.
I know.
You could honestly say
There's a
probably all
lot of
day.
positives. A lot of positives are our couples became more intimate. I realized intimacy in a sense of they really tapped into what they liked in their wedding versus what was the norm to just
expectation.
book, right? So instead of like,
Being so traditional.
yeah, or just, this constant copycat, kind of thing with the brides. But I had brides that did backyard weddings. I had brides that took their
Very creative.
Yeah, and oh my God, they would send me videos of like their dad prepping the backyard, getting things set up, the landscaping. I'm like, oh my, see, this is what weddings really are about. It's kind of like having everybody put their hands into making that day so special.
Yeah, personal love story.
Yeah.
Literally.
And then I had another one. They more people ventured into outdoor botanical gardens and their photos came out so
Gorgeous, yeah.
beautiful.
I could only imagine.
So it's like, and it's not like your traditional biblos and habibs and,
Yeah.
all these big halls right now. You stepped out of the box. You actually got to get in touch with nature a little bit. People got to make things more personable. So it was more about their taste, what their interests were, what their hobbies were. It wasn't the same bland designs that you would see constantly like on repeat. People were able to put a twist.
Yeah,
in-
brides really took their time at home during COVID to really plan out these weddings because they're incredible. Like they have come up with some crazy stuff this past 2 years.
I think this goes back to the old saying that you don't truly know what you have until it's gone.
Until it's gone.
Yeah.
It makes you really take a step back and pause and think about, okay, how do I proceed forward with what I have available now?
And the smaller your circle,
And it
the
really-
better.
It
more
really
fun.
puts
For sure.
it just holds that union
Yeah.
more sacred, which I think so many people got away from. There's so many stories of young girls getting married just to get out of the house. And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like, it's like
For
this
sure.
isn't the way that God intended things to be.
Yeah.
So I think just going back, the biggest positive is that it really did put the emotional, sacred bond back into marriage.
Absolutely.
For a lot of couples.
Absolutely.
love
I think they start to appreciate each other more because a few of my brides watched their spouses or their fiancés get COVID,
Yeah.
be on their bed,
Yeah,
not being able
forced
to
with what
breathe
if.
or
Yeah.
whatnot, and waiting to see like, okay, buddy, like you got to make it. We got a wedding,
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
like knock out whatever you're going through. Like get up, let's go. There's no time for you to be
Definitely.
sick.
After
But-
the wedding is okay though.
Take your time.
We just got to get
No,
there.
not after the wedding. We need you forever, okay? But
I'm kidding, but
yeah.
it made they appreciated each other more.
Yeah.
right?
Stop taking things for granted and
Yeah.
taking each other for granted for sure.
Yeah.
I think we all needed to reset. I mean,
did.
even though it was
Yeah.
very unknown and nobody knew what was going on, I think post-COVID, there's a lot of things, not just in the bridal industry, but it's great to hear how it also affected the bridal industry. And I think this is a good time before we shift from post-COVID to now all the conflicts and the genocide that's happening. We're gonna do another quick ad break, Yusuf. So go ahead and give a shout out to Holy Bowly, and shout out to these ladies right here. They're doing a great job, having a great conversation. I
Thank
feel
you.
like I'm in a salon or in an area right now.
Are you enjoying your
You know how
time?
the guys have the barbershop?
Yeah.
We have a salon.
Well, we're
Yeah.
women only, so this is our, this is our
There you go.
territory.
Our forte.
Yeah.
Welcome to our side.
Appreciate you. And then go ahead and give a shout out to Holy Bowly, then we'll keep it rolling. Holy moly. You have to try out Holy Bowly. Holy Bowly is your go-to destination for vibrant bowls and delicious sandwiches. Everything they serve is 100% fresh, and they have halal options as well. Their mouth-watering bowls are always packed to the top, so you know you're getting the most bang for your buck. They currently have 2 locations in Detroit, and you can check out all their food on their website at www.myholybowly.com. So again, you know, that first part was more about post-COVID, and I'm sure there's so much more that can be discussed as well, just talking about that conversation. But now we're going to shift it into kind of what's been happening currently. As you all know, if you're watching the news, there is a genocide happening in Palestine. There's no other way you could probably put it. There's a war happening in Lebanon. Obviously, there's other countries in the Middle East, Yemen, Syria. Every almost country in the Middle East is going through something. And you know, we're talking about the Dearborn, Hamtramck, Detroit community here. There's a lot of people who represent those backgrounds. So you could only assume that these ladies are assisting a lot of the ladies who are from those countries. And so that can affect them as well. And so in light of all of that happening, you know, and with all the other conflicts happening in the Middle East, how is that affecting the bridal industry? And then we can start off with you this time, Laila. Back to square one, huh?
Worse.
It's kind of like this
Worse.
roller coaster that doesn't stop, and now you've just gone unhinged, and you're just this. You're just dropping and dropping and dropping, and there's no stop. And I feel like, I don't know, but for me, it's affected me a lot. I'm Palestinian. My family overseas has been from being kidnapped and from being displaced and from being tortured to being, I mean, you name it. Like, we've been hearing these stories for years, right? But when you finally start seeing it on a screen and there's so much evidence and it's like so graphic.
How's it real?
It hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts because it's so easy to not be able to visualize something that you cannot see, right? Like, you hear a story, it affects you, but when you're seeing it happen now and the realities are just smacking you in the face left and right, it numbs you. You go completely numb, and there's nothing that can kind of bring you back to reality. And that's kind of what I felt I went through when all this was happening. And then for the year to come, and now with Lebanon, it's just like, now we're feeling each other's pains, right?
Yeah.
It's so easy. Sometimes people can't feel empathy towards another, right? And sometimes people can have empathy. And I feel like, I don't know how serious that empathy was during the year. People were hurt. No doubt about that. People were hurt. But I feel like the more it got closer and closer to home, now we're all on the same wave. You know, now we're really, really feeling it. And now we're all being so affected to a point where, like, I have brides that come in and tell me, I just lost 60 members of my family and I have to postpone my wedding.
Yeah.
So now we're back to like COVID times where it's like, okay, are you okay? You know, that's the first thing you want to ask, because like we said, these brides go through so much planning. They go through so much making sure everything is the way they want for that one day. But then when you hear that 60 members of your family have just been like
Gone.
like
It's
blown out,
That's it.
how do you adjust to that?
You can't.
Right? And so I feel like now with the genocide happening, I think people are just, they're so over the materialism.
They're rethinking their priorities.
Yep. And now it's more so than from COVID,
Yeah,
right?
Definitely more.
Because now you're looking at people on a screen who don't have a home, who don't have clothes on their body, who children don't have a bed to sleep on, no food to eat. And now you're complaining about being at the celebration that's going to feed 500 mouths and you're going to dance the night away.
Yeah.
But then they get these phone calls that say, I'm sorry, I can't come because I just had 20 members pass away. So I won't be there because I can't see the dancing. I can't see people being happy and acting like life is normal when it's not. It's a very, very difficult. I don't know how to even process that. And a lot of girls have even gone back to retract from your traditional wedding. They've canceled those singers and DJs completely. They've gone to we're just going to have dinner and we're going to enjoy each other's company. Kind of like, you know, appreciating those little intimate moments with the people that you love. Some people went from like having 450 people and they said it's just immediate family. So I feel bad for these brides. I truly feel bad. But the one thing that we can continue to do for them is keep making them feel like you are still special. and you are just as important. And we are here to do what makes you feel good on your wedding day, right? So I feel like definitely our priorities have changed. That's for sure.
You want to add on to that?
I do. This is very loaded. COVID introduced us to an idea of the death of a dream. You know, again, childhood dream for a girl. What is my wedding going to look like? What is he going to look like? What is my dress going to look like? All these things that little girls just, they paint with their imagination and their beautiful visions. COVID did introduce that. It is the death of a dream, right? This genocide is the death of humanity.
Yeah.
You know, it's such a, it exceeds brides, it exceeds weddings, it exceeds everything humanly possible that you can conjure in your mind. It's to the level of just global destruction. And yes, we try our best to meet the bride emotionally. And we ask her all of the, important questions. How are you feeling? Is your family back home safe? Is everybody good? Today is your day. Yes, you deserve it. Yes, you deserve to dance, or yes, you deserve to have that music, or yes, you deserve to smash the cake in his face. But the depth of pain that we're all suffering with, and some are speaking louder than others, it still does not glaze over.
I think it's something only God can really heal, honestly.
Yeah,
there's really not enough words that you can utter to something like that. You really can't. It's like a nightmare that you can't really wake up from.
Yeah.
And like they said, we can do and say a million things, but that's not going to bring, your grandma back.
Correct.
It's not going to bring your house back. We lost our house in the village already. I have all family in Lebanon, so it's been really, really tough on me too. And just seeing these brides, and like, you got to keep yourself together on top of like
What you're processing and what you're going through.
Yeah, no, it's a lot.
It's too much.
Too much.
You become disassociated. You do.
From reality.
Yeah, it's hard because even if I'm asking the questions, how's your day? What do you have planned? Just enjoy it.
It's a lot.
Embrace it. There's
just
still
like you're on
lack of-
autopilot.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yes.
We're going back to being that robot and just saying,
Yeah.
oh, I'm fine. But
Correct.
you're not fine.
Correct.
And we're not okay.
We are not
And this
okay.
is not okay.
I know.
And I want to actually thank the Good Fun. Good Fun is actually an organization in Dearborn. They do a lot of charity events, and we actually work with them. We just did a charity on October 28th, and it's where all the proceeds go for like Lebanese humanitarian aid. And thank them so much, because they're actually doing a fundraiser at Black Box today, and they continue doing it. And my saying is always, together we can make a difference. On what we're doing right now, this is making a difference. And I thank you guys for actually inviting us, because it means a lot.
Definitely.
It does, yeah. So I think if we continue doing stuff like this, keep those fundraisers up, use our platform, use our social media, keep talking about it, and don't be fearful of what's on the other side of the screen, because trust me, we don't care.
Have the difficult
Keep going.
conversations.
Yeah.
If we've watched the last year, if we've watched it, just destruction, and we've shared it, we've shared it to what? To create an awareness, or to hurt people, or to be, it depends
Build
on the
empathy.
motive. Yes. If we've shared those things, now we have to start sharing the difficult things as well, the hard conversations. Where are these people at that are, hey, I'll stand up for this and I'll do this. Well, where are you?
Because we need everybody right
together
now.
I think that's the one thing in our community I could say that I have witnessed over this past year. You won't find that anywhere else.
100%.
I love Dearborn.
Nowhere
for that.
else that you will live, you will never find a bond in a city that's so strong, where people really do have each other's backs.
We do.
We show
And
up.
yeah, and I'll tell you this, like when the genocide first started, we were all showing up for Palestine. So we had like Plates for Palestine, where the Amity Foundation came in really hard and strong and supporting a lot of things. We had chefs come in together. We had media content coming together. We had, professionals and business owners come together. And we were there for a cause to support one another and uplift each other and say, hey, what we're going through is hard. And it's okay. We're going to get through it together.
Together. Unity, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we shifted our perspectives from a business point of view, and we all became there emotional for each other. We were the emotional support that we all needed, because honestly, everybody struggled. Everybody was struggling.
Yeah.
I can't tell you one person that was not struggling that I would talk to, and we would just share tears with each other, because there was no
nothing else to
words.
share.
there was no other way of communicating other than just let it out, just take a minute and let it out. And honestly, our community is so amazing for that, because by doing little collaborations with each other that still kept each other afloat, I would say,
Gave us hope.
gave us a lot of hope, right? And it allowed us to get back into somewhat of the norm if somebody did fall off, right?
That's true.
So like when I was having my withdrawal moments, I would have all my great, salon friends, and, because as you guys know, Salon West is my sister company. I call it my sister company.
I love you.
So we supply pieces to Salon West, and we share brides and we share clients. And so like
Cute.
some of their girls, the stylists would, create a reel and tag me in it. Like, hey, Layla, you're still in it. Let's go.
Absolutely.
And
working
Pick you up
together.
out of
to
the
keep
darkness.
us alive,
for
literally.
sure.
I love that.
And so it's basically uplifting each other. And I don't think any community does it better than Dearborn,
No.
to be
Yeah,
honest with you
definitely.
guys.
You know what I also noticed, like during this time too, is brides are tending to go a little bit more of a traditional route.
Yeah.
Like you'll see like either add certain like aspects in their veil, or like
Correct.
like they'll put in like their, growing
Their
up, I'm not
heritage.
gonna lie.
Yes.
It was hard. Yeah, I'm born and raised here. You kind of like shift away from your culture,
you
and
do, yeah.
and I feel like this is kind of bringing us back to be proud of where we're from and like show up.
They are
show
loud and
up.
proud.
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So do you guys see that as well?
Oh,
when you
yeah.
come in?
Absolutely.
We
Oh,
definitely
yeah.
do.
I can't even tell you how many girls I've had request traditional headpieces from me. Like they wanted something with coins, or they wanted something that was, with the reds and the
Yeah.
rich colors. They really embodied and embraced their culture.
Yeah.
And I think this is like the one thing Genocide did bring, was to allow people to be proud
Yes.
of who you are and where you came from. Like wear that loud and proud, because
Absolutely.
they're over here trying to take us down, and we got to be louder. We have to be
100%.
stronger.
Yeah.
And I think together we did that.
We did that.
I'm just looking at Yusuf because the crowd needs to give a round of applause for that moment.
That was awesome. That was awesome. Just to add to that, I just recorded a wedding last Saturday, and I loved it. And DJ Angie, she actually like chanted out to every single country, and and majority of the wedding, I would say, was around like, what are they mostly like? What would you say who everybody was? It didn't even matter, honestly.
I don't know. I think we were loud on every country.
Yeah,
Like
and it was like I just watched. I put my camera down for a second. 'Cause I'm like, I need to see this with my own eyes. I'm like, whoa!
Yeah.
And it's like just a bunch of and it was a women only wedding. Just a bunch of girls screaming and chanting, and it was as if like they're going to get that freedom. Like no matter how we're gonna do it, we
No
are
matter
going.
how
But I
Exactly
mean,
right.
let's be honest. Like one person's struggle at this point literally is everybody else's
Everybody.
struggle.
it is
Yeah.
100%.
And it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter the color of your skin. It doesn't matter what accent you speak in.
Literally.
We are all bleeding the same. We're
human.
And I'm sorry, like we've seen the graphics. All of our guts look the same.
Again, humanity. This
yeah.
is just
The raw truth is we are all the same. We are God's people at the end of the
100%,
day.
yes.
And we are all here to make life as like easygoing, as
life should
peaceful
be.
and
enjoyable
peaceful
as it could
possible.
be.
Yeah.
But remembering that, we're all going to be gone one day. And when we're all gone, what are you leaving behind? I
History.
always say that. Well, I think of this all the time, right? Because I watch all these mothers on TV and on social media who have lost all their kids. They've lost their husband, they've lost their brother, they've lost their father, they've lost their mother, they've lost their children. And they are over here burying their kids, and they're saying, Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
And I'm like,
yeah.
we need to get to that level of humanity, or that level of like contentment with what really is reality, right? The reality is we're all in this together.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, we're all going to be gone.
Yep.
And it's
happen to
what
any
you're
of us.
leaving behind, right?
Yeah.
How do you carry on a legacy? How do you carry on something that other people can look at you and be like, you know what, man, that person, they're good people.
Yeah.
They were there. They were supportive. They understood what it meant to back up their community, or to, it's not just about the money you're making off these weddings. And let's be honest,
We do it now. with
they're
this.
expensive.
Very.
It's not it's honestly, at the end of the day, I tell my brides that come in, because they go, Layla, honestly, it's just word of mouth. I don't advertise. I don't. I ain't got time for that.
You don't need to.
Well, it's word of mouth, and I'm so privileged for it,
yeah.
right?
The word of mouth
Yeah.
is the
And
best.
I say it's because I'm not chasing the dollar.
No, you're not.
I am here to create, to give a service that you cannot get anywhere else.
Yeah.
And so those consultations that my girls come in and have with me, and we discuss everything.
Yeah.
And truly, I'm there as their fairy godmother. I attend some of their weddings too, because I switch out headpieces and put on veils, and we redo their hair, and we do we do everything.
So fun.
And it's so fun, but what does that really mean to you? Is that really worth the money that you're putting, or is it really priceless at the end of the
People
day?
don't remember what you do for them. They remember how you make them feel.
Yes.
Thank you.
100%.
We say that every day.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's our motto in the salon,
It is.
actually.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
No,
Oh,
it
there
really
you go.
is.
I did not know that.
That was cute. Yeah, we say that all the
I've been
time.
just trying to get a clip in this.
No, I'm really
You know what I'm saying?
honestly, I know, like, as you know, brides, they're so stressed out. I can speak for my sister. She got married and my dad passed away before her wedding, 2 months before her wedding. And her husband is the only child. So imagine, like, that's big wedding. He wants all of this, right? And she's like, I am not having a wedding. Like, I don't want to have one. And it was a struggle, and no one understood her. Even my own mom was like, you can't do that to them. They already paid for everything. And
It's not about
like, and I was just I'm like, you can't do that to her. Like, this is also her day. And if she's not comfortable walking into a room with a billion people staring at her after her
heart's
father
broken.
just
And
freaking
not her
died,
dad,
like,
yeah.
we're not gonna do this.
Right.
So we want just
Thank you for standing
he still had
up for
his
her.
guy. He had his guy side because a
Okay,
lot of the
good.
Yemeni weddings are separated.
Right.
And we had a patio which we transformed, and she still had her hair and makeup done. She still did her pictures, but we did not have the whole wedding. So till this day, she's like, I don't regret
That's
it at
what
all.
mattered to
No.
her. then that's
it made
what
me
mattered to her. Yeah.
Sometimes that guilt could kill you more than just even having that wedding.
Definitely, for
And
sure.
yeah, and I feel like we're all even feeling that own guilt right now, especially with the genocide. It's like we're sitting here, alhamdulillah, and we're safe and we're drinking coffee, and it's like, look at them over there. Like, how is this happening? How is this okay?
And I do want to give a shout out to Salon West because she did go to Salon West, and it was raining that day.
Thank you.
And her extensions fell in the rain, and then the lady washed them for her and blow dried them, and because she was like, I didn't know what to do, and so it was like a whole thing.
Oh, I'm so glad.
I've
I'm so glad to
literally,
be part of it.
I've literally gone to go grab a veil that a bride has forgotten at like 6
Yes,
in the morning.
she did.
I'm pulling up at a hotel. I'm like, I hope I can make it up
"What's
to
the
the
address?
suite."
I can't
yeah,
see.
I'm like, but we do what we have to do to get through
So
these
much
moments.
emotions.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
You guys are mentioning emotions. Y'all mentioned the culture sensitivity that's kind of happening right now. So I guess the question becomes, how do you guys, how are you guys addressing the business aspect of it with all the emotion, with all the cultural sensitivity, that is happening, especially with all the crisis that's happening at a lot of the brides' home countries. So how do you address it, the business aspect of it?
Honestly, it's left us with an opportunity to just handle each situation individually.
Yeah.
More personalized, again, going back to that just human level of consciousness, just how can I help you? Let's forget about everything else outside of that. How can I help you? What do you need? There's policies and procedures in place for every functioning business. But when we're met at this level of chaos and tragedy and destruction, you can't
Be even ready for that.
Yeah, you have to really just handle each situation as they come. And I tell them all the time, I'm the only person that can handle it, and let's figure it out together. I don't have the answer, but let's figure it out together. Let's just meet each other equally and see what we can come up with. And they're more than happy to hear that. It's so hard to navigate, and there's not anything I can prepare myself for it. I just have to process it as it comes and decide as it comes and make a decision as it comes, and I have to live with that decision as well. So there's so many aspects that people don't think about. Deposits, for example.
Yeah. Considering the staff. Like
Deposits are for people that are living here and making a living here in this country. And I don't know their financial situations. I'm not their accountant, so I don't know if that money is significant for them to eat or not. Just as well as the bride side, I don't know what that looks like on her end. So it's really, really hard to navigate, and we just figure it out as it comes, and we do our absolute best.
I see you nodding your head. Is there?
We're partners, so we go through it together.
It's 100%.
We sat and we've tried figuring out plans and like, hey, should we come up with certain things in certain ways to really make sure and ensure that our girls have a job, but we're still catering to our brides. And we have sat for hours, and there is no answer. Like, there is none. Because, like she said, imagine a bride walking in and saying, hey, my wedding's next week, but let's say 200 of our guests can't make it, or whatever it may be. Like, everybody is so different, and it's so emotional already, and we have to be very, very mindful of both staff and the bride. And being in a bridal industry, that can get kind of tough. So we can't sit here and say it's easy, because it's not. It's really, really not. But this is not something that any of us really planned. So taking it with like a day by day. Yeah.
How about you, Laila?
I will say that, I don't know, I'll say, and I don't know if you guys feel the same
Go for
way,
it.
but I've had to take a few hits on my business.
Oh, absolutely.
100%.
That was a really
So-
nice.
That's a nice way of
That's a
saying
nice
it.
way of saying it, the way we said it.
100%.
We sometimes, we take,
Big hits.
we'll bite the bullet.
100%.
Just to make sure that our brides are happy, that they are content, that, you know, because like I said, at the end of the day, for me at least, like, of course, you know, we all have bills to pay. We all got to put food on the table or pay for a child's activity or whatever, right? And this is, I mean, you don't just start a business to make it a charity thing. But at the end of the day, I will say, sometimes there are certain cases where you just feel subconsciously,
Yeah.
I'm just going to do this from me.
Yeah.
Like, this is a gift from me to
Yeah,
you.
and that's what it comes
And
down to.
and this is what I want for you. I want you to be happy. I want to be able to put my head on my
the
pillow at night
And sleep
Thank
well.
you.
Sleep
Yes.
Thank you.
with a clear conscience,
100%.
knowing that I didn't put anybody in a strain tonight, you know?
100%.
Yeah.
And so there's been a couple brides from COVID, I would say specifically, because a lot of people were losing their jobs then.
Yeah.
And there are certain brides where I've gifted headpieces to, or I've gifted services to.
Yeah.
And ultimately, you know, they're so appreciative.
So
I've
Yeah.
you know, like, people talk about bridezillas.
We really don't have any right now.
I've never had a bridezilla. I've had one. I won't lie.
I've had family Zillas.
It's usually the
That's
family.
a different podcast.
The bride is like, I'm good. I don't know what's going on with them. And I'm just like, whoa, well, those 10 people out there want to beat me up right now. So.
So, like, when you don't have bridezillas and they're not coming in here demanding
Yeah.
things from you or demanding you treat them a certain way and their entitlement is on the line,
Yeah,
Makes it a little easier.
it does.
it makes a lot of things
lot.
easier.
And I think just to follow up with that, it's a little more difficult in a larger business like the salon, for example. We
Yeah.
have, we have
For sure.
23 artists and stylists combined.
For sure.
So it's, again, those scenarios that come up that I have to navigate through. I'm thinking for everybody involved.
Absolutely.
How is it affecting
You have a lot more
everybody?
interest at
Correct. If
stake.
it's just myself, then of course the decision is always like, I'm going to take the hit. I can handle it. I know I can. Whereas I'm thinking for 5 different people and the bride, it's very difficult. But just to follow up to that, I do think that we reach whatever medium we can to make it the most comfortable for ourselves.
Listen,
And
we're
that's
we're Arab.
we
Yeah.
There's always a way.
there is always a way.
We make things work.
We
really
do.
do.
Okay. We do.
And then when you do
100%.
look out for someone, somehow, some way, it comes back tenfold.
What is that, Jinx?
It'll be a soda. No.
So they had a production meeting beforehand.
We did not. This is all natural,
vibe.
honey. This
It's
is
a
natural
vibe.
talent.
For sure.
It is a vibe. I love it. Thank you,
Natural
guys.
vibe, yeah.
Thank you.
I'm actually looking forward to this question right here because
Okay.
this is an interesting one right here. So how can, and this is almost advice because y'all deal with the brides.
Yeah.
So how can brides balance the joy of their upcoming weddings with the grief or concern of their family members back home who may be going through a genocide or a conflict? So I'm looking at you, Yhesmine, if you want to start out. I'm sorry, I'm giving you the tough
No,
one.
I actually,
So,
we answered this one. And you want to know, it kind of goes back onto what we were just talking about. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't. Like, you just can't. I don't think they are ready. They don't have enough time to mentally process what I think is going on and what is happening. And you're trying to not only live out your childhood dreams, like since you were a little girl at 12 years old, but now is my future being affected? Is there gonna even, what's to come after the wedding? Is the wedding, like, there's so many questions. And it's like, where do you stop? Where do we get started? How do we do this? Do I even know what to feel? Am I numb? Like, it just kind of keeps going. And I talk to so many brides, and they're like, honestly, like I was saying, they're so disassociated. So I think it's, for me, what I try to do best is, like, try to get them intact just with a little bit of, if I can offer them at least 1% of happiness that day, then I made all the difference. Because they are going to go home that night and they're going to realize, oh crap, the wedding's over. Now I'm back to my raw emotions again, and this was all for what? And it's not. You have that self-guilt. They're going to continue having that the rest of their lives because this is something that we cannot change. We hope that what we're doing right now, we are going to create that change. So I think it's like, be the good in their life at that moment in time, but they're going to have to take their own course. They're going to have to feel out what they're going to have to feel out. Hopefully, they have a very supportive family and a supportive spouse, and we have God at the end of the day, because there is nothing that we can do for them to balance out grief and happiness. You can't. It's more so grief too, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Any of you want to add on to that one, too? I mean, that's...
I think that was well spoken.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Yeah.
There's just no way. You have to just go through it yourself, and you have to compartmentalize.
I cry with them.
Yeah.
I do. Because and I mean, I can cry from a video on a phone. It's so raw, it's so real, and it's so sad.
Yeah.
So it's like,
we can't set up false reality at this point, even for the benefit of the bride that day, because she has to go through those emotions herself, and she has to deal with them and process them on her own time and her own way. So yes, 1% of happiness is great, and we try our absolute best. But to create a false reality where we used to is just,
that would be
too
fake.
far away right now.
Yeah.
It's too far away from reality. It's unfortunate, but this is just where we are. And I think until people really grasp the magnitude of what's going on, I mean, we're talking entire bloodlines
like ethnic cleansing
being
is taking place.
completely
Families being wiped off the
This isn't
registry.
war.
annihilated forever.
Correct.
Their existence will only be what we read, right? And what are the younger children going to read? What really are they going to read in history 25, 30 years from now? Is it really going to be what we know
It's
is
not going to
true?
be what we're talking about right now.
Or is it going to be the narrative?
narrative.
Exactly. So unfortunately for the brides, as much as we love them, and we do, and they're all entitled to their day and to their moments, just becoming one with themselves and really stepping back and processing everything that's truly going on is fair to them, instead of giving them a false reality. Like she said, the wedding's over, the lights are gone, the photographers are gone. Now what? My family's still gone back home. No home, no food. They're still cold. They're still hungry. The wedding doesn't make it go away.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll say this. I think I get to see the brides on a more raw narrative.
Yeah.
And I think I just have more personal time with them. Like it's a one-on-one constantly with them and I.
Yeah.
And one of the brides that I had, the one that told me she had lost like 60 family members and had to push back the wedding.
Yeah.
And I was so upset. And I'll tell you guys why. I was upset because as she's explaining to me her situation, and she's explaining to me her deposits, and she's explaining to me all the planning that she's gone through, she's also telling me that there are certain businesses that I'm not going to name, so it's okay. I'll save you guys the embarrassment. Won't budge on a deposit or a pushback on a date.
Yeah.
And they're not, accommodating her in the situation that she really is.
Her hands are tied.
Her hands are tied.
Correct.
It's not in her hands.
Yeah.
Like she cannot control the situation, right?
Yeah.
So all they told her was, we can extend your date for another 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Excuse me.
Oh, wow.
It's like a slap in the face, kind of.
Okay, but you know what she lost in those 2 weeks? Because so number one, you as a bride, you always have to go back to the older men in your family to get the approvals for everything. And so the older men told her, yeah, no, you're going to push it back for 2 weeks. So I don't care what money you have to lose. We're gonna extend it. So imagine the cards that you sent out are like what, $400, $500, $600, $800 now, maybe, I don't know, gone, right? The wedding hall won't give you your deposit, or no, the wedding hall is accommodating, which I so appreciate, by the way. A lot
Yeah,
of these
that's
wedding
awesome.
halls have been probably
are.
the most flexible.
They really are
They
flexible.
are,
Yeah.
as long as the date's available. It's
Yeah.
affecting them, and it's affecting them huge.
But she lost her photographer.
Oh, wow.
And the deposit she put on her photographer. So now she had to go find a new photographer within 2 weeks of
Yeah.
her wedding. Her singer, she lost the deposit on her singer, and she now doesn't have a singer. So in lieu of losing that many family members,
She is losing
they
everything altogether.
they decided to not even have music at all at this point. So there's no music. And then because of the 60 family members that they had that were lost, I want to say half of her guests were not able to show up. And so now she had to basically downsize and cancel her hall, right? Because why does she need a huge hall for like 150 people?
Wow.
Because everybody told her they would refuse to come to her wedding if she still had it, because 2 weeks is not enough time for them to grieve.
Right.
Which typically, I mean, we have 40 days at least, right? They tell you like minimum. Some people need longer.
Grief is forever.
But
People don't understand that.
It's how you process it, right?
Yeah.
And you cannot really define grief. There's no
it's like the
clear
ocean.
definition.
It definitely is like the ocean. It's unpredictable.
Right.
It comes in waves. It comes in tides. It's high. It's low.
So this
It's
poor
everything.
girl is now in a sense where you can see she's stress breaking out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I feel so bad for girls that stress break out because like
you can't
having
control
one
it.
breakout on your wedding is like devastating.
Yeah.
But like to stress break out,
And it's like you can't control it.
No.
so bad. And then now she has to change her hair artist, her hairstylist, her makeup artist. Now she has to change so many different elements that construct and orchestrate her day, right? And she's just at a point where she's like, I just don't even want to do it anymore.
Did this wedding happen?
I was about to ask you, did she have the wedding yet? Because we can help.
Because we're definitely.
She had it,
Okay.
but it's like she had to basically go down to the raw.
So it's,
Like, you know, when you're doing a house reno and you take everything down to the studs, it was just like,
it goes back to the death of a dream, man. It's just,
That's
you
all I
keep
was
repeating
thinking.
it, but it's just there. It's
but you know, I will tell you this too. There's another conversation I had with another bride and we were talking. Now, her postponement happened, but her fiance was like really like understanding. Not a lot of older people had a say in decision making,
Usually it's
so we know
easier.
how that goes.
Yeah.
So they actually just said, you know what? Let's just wait a year, push it out another year.
Nice.
Like, what are we in a rush for? Let's take our time with things. Let's see how things actually pan out. And they were so smart.
yeah.
They cut down their wedding from like 600 people to like just their intimate family.
Yeah.
That's so smart.
They
love
had
it.
like maybe
That's beautiful.
50 or 60 people. It was such an intimate dinner. They did the most intimate favors. They didn't even ask. They specifically told people, do not leave a card. We do not have a box for your card. So don't bring a card with you. Whatever you want to do,
Donate.
put it as a donation.
Wow, Allah's gonna put better care in there.
That's beautiful.
Absolutely.
Love that.
That's beautiful.
Honestly, a lot of my brides did that this year where they left donation
Yeah, I've
cards
seen
or
that
they
too.
said, there's no favor, please don't leave a card. We were going to donate on your behalf. And so like, look at all those hasanat that they got,
Yeah,
number one.
So beautiful.
Right? Which is so beautiful.
So beautiful.
Number two, they intimized it to where it was just meaningful. It's just me and my family.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, let's be honest. Like, as you're married, who's really there for you? Like, are those 600 people that were
No,
at your
of course
wedding?
not.
For the
There's
food
gonna-
and the
Of
talk
course not.
shit.
That's it. Yeah.
Judge.
We don't really, I'm just saying. That's what it is. You know.
No, it is definitely. It's
So,
just
like, they made it so
meaningful.
personal.
It goes
It
back
was-
to that sacred bond
Exactly.
again and the intimacy.
And then you know what she told me? They were able to put more money down on their house to secure it so that they're not in debt.
we just talked about that. I
Yep.
told her that
literally just talked about
coming out of COVID, a lot of people, they were like, whew, thank goodness I didn't have a wedding.
Exactly.
You know?
They
them a
saved
lot
so
of
much
money.
money.
I have young adult children that are in the marriage age range. And, the daughter, she is 50-50 on the wedding. The son is definitely, he's like, no, I don't want a wedding. Just my immediate family. And
Yeah.
I want to give my bride a house.
There is nothing wrong with living a debt-free life
Yeah.
as
it's like,
newlyweds. There
that's
really
that's
is
the
not.
best advice.
the way
I
to
could
go.
give. Yeah,
the way
for
to
sure,
go.
100%.
That's. I feel like the biggest thing that I've learned from this whole situation is that people are going the smaller route. They're focusing on the details.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're living happier.
Yeah.
I mean, would you rather have your dream house with your dream life, or would you rather have a dream wedding for
One day.
6 hours?
Oh, yeah, 6 hours, not even one day.
Just make sure you look good. Get the pictures. Do
Yes.
all the little cute,
Yeah.
You could
cutesy
still do
wedding
a
stuff.
beautiful,
You know?
intimate wedding
For
and still
sure.
have like the wedding of your dreams
know?
and then walk away with,
I mean, listen, that's what they really care about. They care about their photographer.
Yeah.
So I always tell them, listen, make sure your photographer
Is the
is
biggest
amazing.
investment. Yeah.
Okay, because these pictures are gonna last you a lifetime.
Forever. Yeah.
But everybody else is just noise.
Yeah.
It's just
100%.
noise.
I
right?
give that advice all the
So
time.
I would say that is also another way of comforting our brides, right? Is kind of taking them back to like peer pressure is non-existent.
Yeah.
Like, you're an adult now. Nobody can peer pressure you into doing what you do not want to do anymore.
I do too. It's what you want.
Yeah. And I'm here like, hey, I'm gonna back you up. Like, let's go.
Really are.
You know?
You're like their security guard.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the bigger wedding is for your parents. Like, it's not for, because they're inviting everybody. Like,
That
I've
they
been known
know.
to invite
Yes.
everyone and their mom.
Yeah, because your khalti from 25 years ago came to your cousin's wedding, so now I have to invite her to your wedding.
And I'm like, who are these people? Yeah. It's okay.
Yeah.
He's laughing. He's next. What you laughing about over there, man?
Come on.
Like, I always joke around. I'm like, the only aisle I'm walking down is the, airplane.
The airport.
Oh, yeah. No,
Well, that was my other thing that I was going to say. A lot of these girls and their husbands at this point, instead of booking like
travel. Yeah.
instead of booking a couple day honeymoon, because that's all that they were able to like take out from work or from their expenses or whatnot, they're like, oh
2
no,
or 3 weeks.
peace out.
In
We're
Europe.
gone 2, 3, 4
Europe
weeks.
tour
like,
2025.
we're touring.
Yes.
They're going out and seeing the world. They're spending some quality time together,
Beautiful.
and I love it. I'm
I
all for
love it.
it.
I'm
They
here
need
for
that.
it.
And a lot of the weddings too are not even just one day.
No,
Like,
like 3 or 4 days.
yes,
Yeah, there's the
it's
henna
wild.
party
Wild.
and then
Wild.
yeah, definitely.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm so glad y'all said it.
Okay.
Because us guys been trying to preach this for a very long time. You know what I'm saying?
Says the one. Hold on. I gotta put you on the spot. Okay.
Okay, first, okay, go. I already know what she's about to
Says
say.
the one.
But you gotta
Like,
understand.
his wife is so sweet because she let him. Like, he took over the wedding.
Okay.
Like, this guy picked the
It
colors.
wasn't me. It was a team effort.
Okay,
By the way.
okay.
He had Sparty at his wedding.
Well,
Yeah, the MSU. Like, I'm sorry, he had his fun.
That
It
was the only thing I was like.
Wait, what'd you do?
But originally, Sparty.
the Sparty from
mascot.
He's a
MSU.
mascot from
The
Michigan State.
mascot.
You
Yeah.
had it at your wedding?
So he
Yeah.
came
I
and he
love
started
it.
dancing air break and everything.
love
was,
it.
like,
It was
hilarious.
hilarious.
You
Love
left it
it.
with him?
But his
Yeah.
wife was so sweet. As long as she was like, she worried about herself. She was so
Love it.
stress free.
Love
Like,
it.
I could do whatever I want. I'm gonna just show up, look cute, and she
Yes.
did. As
Love
she
it.
should, you
I
know.
love it.
As we
But,
should. Why do we? Why
Choose
do we
peace on your
stress
wedding
ourselves
day.
out?
Choose
Seriously.
Literally, she was so chill about everything.
Yeah.
So shout out.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And you know what's funny? As we're talking at this moment, I mean, when it's posted, but we have a wedding to go to today too. So I bet you they're going through that thing right now, and the whole stress and everything.
Oh,
But-
yeah.
So
It's hard.
this is a good time to take our final break before we believe it or not, we're entering the final couple questions of the show. We hope that you are enjoying this so far. So go ahead and give a shout out, Yusuf, to Melika Kebab, and then we're gonna keep it rolling. So shout out to Melika Kebab.
Both of them.
Me too.
Melika Kebab has become noted as one of the best Middle Eastern restaurants in the Metro Detroit area. The restaurant has become a popular destination for visitors and is always full of satisfied locals who are proud to invite their guests to taste real Middle Eastern food. With options like shish platters, shawarma plates, shawarma sandwiches, lamb chops, fattoush, and tabbouleh salads, you can never go wrong when you choose to eat at Melika Kebab. They currently have 3 locations, West Dearborn, Taylor, and Trenton. Be sure to stop by Melika Kebab to satisfy all of your Middle Eastern cravings. You can also visit them at their website, melikkebab.com. All right, we're officially back, and I know all of you kind of already shared some stories, but if there's maybe another story that you would like to share where basically that kind of highlights that intersection of joy and dealing with the struggle of, the wedding planning journey, especially during these difficult times. I know you shared a couple. So is there any other story that you guys would like to share, or like just give another example of someone that's kind of like dealing with, war of the worlds, with their, personal selves and kind of what's going on?
Honestly, the first people to come to mind, we have a lot of staff members that their parents, like, they're here by themselves, and it's sad because I see them and like they run when they get that call from their mom or from their dad or from just family back home, and then they just to see the look on their face, I think it's like we're in like a paused moment, we're all frozen, and it's like, what's about to happen? And I think, take aside from our brides, it's like going through that on a daily. I don't know why when you asked that question, it's like I thought about my girls at the salon, and they go through so much and they are so strong, and like I couldn't imagine my mom being overseas or my dad being overseas and not being here right now, and we feel so helpless. So I guess that's not really joyful, but I don't know why I thought about that. I thought about our girls right away, from like Zaina and all of them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's just the balance of, doesn't always necessarily just have to be joy. It's just more so,
Supportive.
supportive,
Yeah.
and just kind of
Yeah.
the everyday, we might laugh.
Yeah.
It's like the show in general, like we might have laughed a little, but we also, are dealing with a lot.
Of course.
Well, there's
inside,
definitely
so.
going to be a light at the end of this tunnel for
Yeah,
sure. And I think we all help each other and remind each other daily that that's what it's going to be. So alhamdulillah, we all do have each other.
Yeah.
So we're all gonna get through this. We're gonna be
For
okay.
sure.
But
and at the end of this, is that all glory is to God. So there's nothing that hasn't been pre-written and predestined. It's all here, and we're living it. And just how we walk away from it and how we interact with one another during our walk is really what's going to be left behind. So you spoke of legacies, and you spoke of truly what do we leave behind at the end of this, and it comes down to our walk. What are we going to, how are we going to conduct ourselves, and how are we going to process this on a daily basis, on a moment to moment basis? So just being aware, really being aware and just owning it. If there's somebody that you need to call and say, hey, how are you? I need to check on you, do it. If there's someone that you need to apologize to, do it. If there's someone out there that owes you an apology, look for it, granted, but forgive. If there's something that you're holding on to, just let it go. This is so much deeper, and reality is perspective, right? And perspective is reality. So we create it.
Absolutely.
We create what we live.
Absolutely.
And we don't allow these external forces to control our narrative. We have to just be mindful of that. So as far as an individual story with a bride, no, there's just too many to highlight. And we're just meeting them all individually again.
I love that. I don't know if you wanted to add on to that one or
William
just
Shakespeare. That was so good.
Yeah, that definitely deserves a round of applause. I was going to say
Thank you.
right now. She's spinning right now. All right. So the future. The future of the bridal industry.
Yeah.
What do you foresee as the future trends in the bridal industry as it continues to recover from the pandemic and also through the current global issues? So I guess, what do you have in the future? What do you see in the future?
I am actually praying that it stays intimate. I really want the bond.
I agree.
I want the glory of marriage to really be magnified. I want it to be highlighted again. This is what God intended. God created us in pairs.
Yeah.
This isn't a mistake. So passionately, I want that to just stop with the trying to be better than your cousin last week.
And the trends.
Or they did peach. I want to do peach with pink. It's go back to the basics.
Or she only spent $80,000 on her flowers.
I spent 100.
I'm gonna make sure mine are like about a 140.
Yeah, let's not do that. Let's truly go back to the basis of marriage and how sacred it is.
Yeah.
And how
so sacred.
intimate and beautiful it is.
Like, go collect your flowers from the garden that you just planted last
Thank you.
summer.
And like,
Listen, you guys, girls are now focused more on, well, not now, but before, girls are focused more on the wedding than the actual groom.
Yeah.
Like, they don't even, they find the right man.
They pull up with these.
Okay,
They pull up with
legit, no
these trolls.
joke. Wait, no joke. I had a girl come in.
I had to say it.
I had a girl come in with her friend. The friend was the bride, so she's like, the maid of honor or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, I already have my wedding plan. I just need a guide. Do you guys know
I say
anyone?
that all the time.
So we make the jokes,
everything's ready.
right?
I need
We
the
do.
man.
We make
Literally.
the jokes. We make the jokes. My daughter, she's 26, and we literally make the jokes. I'm like, hey, do you guys know anybody? Like, she's gonna expire soon,
Oh my
but
God.
the reality of it is, and I apologize to anybody that I offend with this. Is also, let's step back from really forcing the idea of marriage and to enter into a prearranged or a forced marriage. It's unfortunate we've dealt with brides in that existence as well.
Yeah.
Where we have brides that are so emotional and we couldn't understand why.
Do not ignore the
And-
red flags. And
they're-
we're good.
And they literally tell me,
Yes.
I don't want to get married today. And I'm like,
Like, what do you say to a
and
bride?
I'm
that
like,
they say
whoa.
that?
And they're like, I don't know him. This is all arranged. And I get it. I get it culturally. I get it Islamically. I get it religiously. I get it on all. I get it on all platforms. But let's go back to the sacred unity of this and what God intended. And let's really be mindful of that, even to the older parents that might not be aware that, let her go to school. Let her fall into
Let
her
her just
own.
choose
Everything will be
love.
okay.
Let her find herself.
Yes, and everything will be okay. I promise it will.
I
The
gotta
divorce
say, I feel like, I don't know if you've seen it differently, but I feel like the community's on the mend, to
Yes,
making these changes.
I hope so.
I'm here
I hope
for
so.
it.
So
We
I
see it a
haven't,
lot.
I haven't heard of an arranged marriage recently. I feel like everybody meets and they're kind of like,
It's better, but there's still
There's
No,
so-
but it's so
yeah.
cute. Or
I
like,
see
hey,
it a lot
we met
still,
during
yeah.
Quran study,
Yeah.
or we met at the Jamia, you know, or hey,
lot
we
better.
met at this charity
It is a lot
dinner.
better,
yeah.
So people are meeting each other, and you know, subhanallah, because like I said, there's always a way, right?
There is always a
and
way,
God
yeah.
always will open those doors for you when your heart is pure and
it's
your
ready.
heart is ready, right?
100%.
So you will find these amazing people just like yourself at the right places, right?
Right place, right
So go to a charity dinner, you guys.
That's a whole other topic. That's a good one. It's a very good one.
Main goal.
It is
But
actually a good one.
you are right. Like brides are, it's their wedding day, and they don't know their husband, and they're nervous. Like it's a whole other category.
Yeah,
to deal
it's a
with.
different category that we've been unfortunate to meet, but just the sacred unity of marriage. I think I really hope that is what sticks right now. Like I hope that just
Absolutely. Me
goes
too, me
forward
too.
and
We all agree.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
I'm so excited to see all of our little girls live out their fairy tale dreams right now. Like that's
Yeah.
it's the cutest thing. Oh my god.
And I'm gonna buy a wand for like I think I'm gonna buy
likes one.
so
You need
cute.
one.
That's I think
content.
we're gonna buy a wand because
Like a
like
before
I
and then-
literally just want like that little ding, ding. Okay, ding. Yeah,
You guys are
Fairy
making it
godmother.
happen.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I would say, oh my God, I just had a Yhesmine moment.
Did you? She brain farted. It's okay.
Talking about
And I'm in the
foreseeing the
middle.
future, like the future of weddings, maybe, and you were gonna say something about.
What do you want to
that.
continue? What trend?
Oh, I want to continue this trend of my brides and their grooms being mature and being so financially level-headed, not just throwing away money, you know, on things that are just kind of crazy spending
Oh, that
or
cousin-
unnecessary
That
spending.
$140,000 cousin is not gonna like.
Oh
that
yeah, no,
statement.
no, not at all.
No, it's
Yeah.
And
okay.
so I want to see more girls building their dream home. I want, because if you guys, let's be honest, like houses and real estate right now,
It's
it's
crazy.
it's too fire.
Yeah.
And so
Buy land, build on top of it.
yeah. So I want to see that continuing, because I'm realizing more and more of my brides are becoming more financially like woke and aware, and they're putting their money where it's like, why would I spend it on this when
Thank you.
I have a future that I need to
Intimacy.
prepare for?
And the sacred bond
Yes.
of what it really comes down to.
So
It's like we're gonna start our life
They're
together.
prioritizing
Yes.
themselves
These
instead
flowers-
of like
these flowers are not going to suffice. Like, yeah.
no,
I
no.
feel like that's what kind of going back on what COVID did. I feel like a lot of people learned to DIY it
Yes,
and do it
I was just
yourself.
gonna say that.
Entrepreneurship is rising right now with the young crowd, and I absolutely I love it. They're thriving, they're striving, and I think that's a big factor too. Is like they're learning how to do it themselves. So
Yeah.
it's like instead of paying an arm and a leg, let's just mom,
Let's
come
pay
on.
a kidney.
I've been seeing girls like have quick parties before, like to make centerpieces.
Yeah, no.
And it's fun, you
And
know,
it
with their
is,
girls,
yeah.
and
And
then they
you're building
memories.
memories.
Adds to
Yeah,
it, and then it
for
adds
sure.
to like she
So
said.
that's all part of the intimacy that
It
we're
is.
talking about.
Just
It's about
keep
bringing
it-
people together to share the moment
Correct.
leading up to the big
Keep
day,
it, yeah.
instead of just, oh, how much was that? Okay, let me write you a check.
No.
How much is that? Okay, oh, let me write you a check.
Yeah.
So the checks ain't cutting it no more. It's all about who you know, and it's all about your circle.
Yeah.
And it's about, honestly, like filtering out the fakes and the reals and making sure that your circle stays nice and true.
I love that.
I love
Yeah.
that.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Intimacy.
Yep, intimacy is the answer. Go ahead and give that a round of applause. First of all, great show. You know, I'm
Thank you.
serious.
That was
This is-
amazing.
I feel like,
Yeah.
you know, it's one of those where now I see why you're saying that there's layers to this, you know, because
Definitely.
Absolutely.
I feel like,
We had a couple spin-offs, so that can
yeah.
Right?
There
Yeah, they
are
almost
definitely
peeked
layers.
through, and we had to
Yeah.
kind of
We're like,
suppress
hold on,
them.
yeah,
Yeah,
wrong,
yeah.
wrong topic.
Yeah.
I told you that was gonna happen.
because there's so much.
It's just like an onion. There's so many layers.
Yeah.
Like right now in my brain, I'm thinking like, you
10
know,
steps ahead, right?
Yes.
Yes, me too. I'm like,
literally.
You know, I'm gonna be honest with you. As a guy, you know, when I saw this, you know, when I thought about the conversation, I was like, yeah, you know, it's a good one. But now I see how it can be even deeper and
Definitely.
deeper. And let's be honest, I know women would love to hear more and more about this kind of conversation.
Got
Again,
you,
this is
girls.
like salon talk, right?
yeah.
And like, just imagine spending that much money on a wedding and then like you don't last.
I I didn't want to speak
That-
to that.
Okay, no, we're not gonna do this. That is another spin-off.
My heart just cracked.
I literally, I was like,
I don't know if you want to go there.
I'm like, well,
We're gonna need another 4 hours for that.
yeah. So it's not about the looks anymore, guys. It's truly about
you
just
feel?
serving your soul, because that's what transcends this life.
Yeah.
You know, it's this life is just a drop, you know? And so I really think it's just about serving your soul now and just staying intimate with yourself too.
Yeah.
You know, let's not forget the small circle, yes, but just with yourself. Like you said it earlier, at night, you close your eyes, you put your head on the pillow. Who is there besides you and God? That's it.
No one.
That's it. So how you chose to live that day is really what you're going to sleep with.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Love that. So before you guys can prepare your final words and final comments. I just want to say again, be sure to follow us on all of our socials. You have YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Apple and Spotify podcasts, all under Oz Media. You can then see all of that and also this episode on our website at ozmedia313.com. Shout out to the sponsors of Motivate Me 313, which is Hanley International Academy, Holy Bowly, Wing Fellas, Juice Box, Melik Kebab, Jabel Coffee House, and Royal Kebab. Again, this was season 4, episode 11 of Motivate Me 313. We talked all about weddings in crisis, navigating the bridal industry post-COVID, and global conflict and genocide. So this time, you guys will be closing out the show. Any final words? We'll start off with you. We'll roll it back that way. So, Yhesmine, any final words, any final comments that you have that you would like to share out there?
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to thank you guys again for having us. I love this topic. It was so much fun. One word of advice I would think I want to give to all my brides out there, and I say this on a daily: well, you're not changing, you're choosing. And I live by that quote honestly every single day with every decision that I make. And I think that's a little helpful tip. And it goes back to, supporting this and getting out there in your community and unity. And I just all is full circle. So thank you again. And I loved being here. It was awesome.
I love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, I'll just echo her words. It was great having us. Thank
Yeah.
you so much. I appreciate it. And to all the brides, you do deserve your moment. So
Yes.
go for it. Don't let anyone rain on that, but just own it for yourself. Like, let it be for you, and just stay true to yourself.
Yeah, be
Just
you.
really,
Yeah.
just be you and just live. Yeah.
I love that.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys for having us. Thank you for accepting our topic, huh?
Yeah.
It was a great topic.
Yeah, I really love where this went, and I
Yeah.
think we did a lot of justice for a lot of girls, and maybe some future brides, and hopefully they can look back at this and kind of like have some of our shared moments resonate with them. Thank you guys for jumping
Thank
on this
you.
with me.
Yeah,
Honestly, I couldn't have thought for anybody to jump on with
So
me
perfect.
because we've talked about all this stuff in the
talk
salon
all the time. Yeah.
and now we're bringing it to everybody else.
Thank you.
It's not as censored, but yeah.
It's okay. Sometimes they don't need it, right?
Right? Yeah.
You guys,
I bet it got close a couple times.
Yeah.
we'll leave that for another time, maybe, inshallah.
Some thoughts, but yeah.
Abid, it was so nice to meet you, and thank you
yeah.
for coming and
You guys are
joining
so
us.
lovely.
Thank you.
honestly.
It was so beautiful.
So are you.
I really love it.
Thank you. We really did enjoy this. This was amazing.
Yeah.
No, of
Definitely.
course. There's a lot of women empowerment going on.
100%.
For sure.
Anything you want to say to the guests?
Just as brides, just remember it's your day. Do whatever you're comfortable with. You don't have to change. It's your day at the end of the day. You're the only one that's gonna relive it over and over and over when you have kids and all of that. So just make sure that you marry the right person and you have
Let's start with that.
the most comfortable wedding that you and your future husband will enjoy.
Inshallah, yeah.
And just remember the meaning of marriage. Let's
100%.
always go back to that, because if God is first, nothing else can tear us apart.
I love that.
Say it louder. Gosh.
There you go. I hope you enjoyed this. This, just be on the lookout, might be the first of many shows that we do with a very similar topic at hand, where we can dive into it in different ways. So we hope that you enjoy this. Feel free to reach out to us and give us any maybe if you have comments or even suggestions as well in the future of what we can talk about from this episode. We'd love to do that. Thank you, ladies, for coming.
you so
Seriously,
much
I
for having
appreciate
us.
you.
And then if there's anything you guys do want to talk about that we didn't touch base on today, let us know.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
maybe we can create another.
We're the small but mighty
Sure.
tribe. We're
Yeah.
not scared to forge forward. We'll do it.
We got your guys' back. That's
We definitely do.
We hope you enjoy this episode. And again, we'll see you all next time. Have a great rest of your day. Take it easy.
Yay.